because it's dark here in Finland. I've been writing songs like a madman, and so of course I've been singing like the melodies and stuff. So I think it's a combination of just me talking and singing, but I digress. We are here for the Matty and Courtney radio show extravaganza, and boy, do I have stuff to talk about today. But before I do that, I mean, how's Miss Courtney doing? I know you were taking you're studying law among other things, and you were taking your finals last week.
Yeah, it was strange. It took me probably like 4 days to get out of that feeling and out of that push. And I was thinking to myself, oh, immediately after, I'll just jump right into my music and continue where I was at and put full heart into it and stuff. And it's just been really hard. Like my alarm didn't go off for 2 days. My kid missed 2 days of school, and I was just I had to go check on my grandma, who is my kid's great grandma. So it's been a pretty busy couple of days, but it went well. And yeah, studying law and stuff. So we're getting there. Pre-law, but yeah.
Okay. Well, that's fantastic. And hopefully everything went well. And what else have you been, you said you've been busy with family stuff, but what about music? So you've been just taking a little bit of break from music, or are you still writing and doing stuff?
It's really hard. I feel like because of finals, and I took a few days off to check on my family, that yesterday I wrote down a list of, okay, what am I going to do? When is this going to happen? And finally getting into the step of the process where I'm thinking about release, how I'm going to release it. 'Cause there's some songs that I've been pitching to try to get them signed, through one company, and people keep giving me feedback, and it's great, but I'm not willing to change my songs too much. So I'm probably just going to be releasing it myself and then pitching it from there, not doing any kind of exclusive, licensing or getting signed under a label or anything for at least this project that I'm doing right now. And yeah, I'm writing the list of songs. We're going into the studio tonight, and we're getting some stuff done. Probably plan out how I'm going to do the release, write down the promotional plans, the companies I plan to pitch through, and all that stuff for non-exclusive licensing. But yeah.
Speaking of music, we have Nicky Rothen joined, and I'm going to be doing some collaborations with him on some music. Maybe Courtney can end up doing some collaborations. Courtney and I, of course, we've collaborated on music already, and I'm hoping to get those songs up soon. I wanted to talk to you about being an artist, and like we were discussing last week, but more specifically, I've been learning a lot about social media and growing your channels and monetizing and doing CPA marketing and all this stuff, right? Propeller ads and all that stuff. But my question is, of course, what I've learned basically is you can copy certain viral videos if you want and create a brand new social media channel. It's got nothing to do with genetics. I can create a cats are amazing channel. Copy some viral cat videos that I'm allowed to use or say that I'm allowed to use, start posting them up, getting my viral things going because they work, doing CPA marketing, blah, 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 blah. That's awesome. Maybe I might do that, I don't know. But what I want to know, what I have a question for you is, if you don't do that, or as an artist, you can't really, I really couldn't just all of a sudden start posting cat videos on my Genitis page, because people would just be like, what are you doing? This doesn't make sense. So that being said, because I can't do that, what are artists that are actually trying to make real content that's genuine to themselves, like me, I'm a music artist and I do live streams, how can I grow my channel? Maybe not as exponentially as I would if I were to create a I Love Cats channel, but how could we as artists go about at least doing something like that? Because that's my question for today. It's a good question.
Yeah, so there's actually an artist I met probably a year and a half ago. Her name, I think, is Angel Crete, and perfect, right?
Yeah.
Phone call. All right. But her name was Angel Crete, and she started a fan page, right, for some band that she really loved, and it grew to, I think, like 30,000 followers here on Instagram. And she decided to stop doing the fan page on that page and just start doing her music and making her music. And she said she lost like 25% of her following because she stopped being a fan page and just wanted to have her music. So that would be kind of hard to do, like to transition. I think the best way, and it's so personalized, I can't say there's any one way to do it. For me, when I was planning out my promotions, I'm like, well, what I like to do and what people know me for and what they might recognize me for again, oh, it's that person, who did this for Nostalgia in Wonderland or something, where I would at least try to get a nice quality video where I'm present, and promote that somehow, like over and over again. So it's like, that's my way of pushing content, and as well as maybe trying to do some short form videos that are trendy but not the trending ones, if you get what I'm saying. Like, try to be more original in my approach.
Well, yeah, because I sort of get what you're saying. I just think it's so interesting that, of course, I haven't done this myself. Maybe I'll try it. Just, it's not a bad idea to try things just to see how it works. But like, I've been watching enough YouTube tutorials on how to grow. Actually, I had Dropkick Blues. I had on my live stream like years ago, 2 years ago. And he was trying to tell me this 2 years ago. He's like, Matthew, all I do is I post pictures of like Jimi Hendrix or this guitar player, that guitar player, all these things. And he's like, and my channel I have like hundreds of thousands of viewers. And then I just put ads in my thing. He's like, I'm not even in my thing. And because since then I'm just like, yeah, like, I guess that's like old news, whatever. But see, doing something like that today, it would make sense. Like, you can totally grow a channel, but I just think if you want to grow a channel for the right reasons, not just for business reasons, or both. Like, I do want to grow my channel for business reasons, but I want it to be about me. I don't want it to be about cats or building furniture or posting pictures of Jimi Hendrix, because I could post pictures of Jimi Hendrix and get views. I experimented. So I've been dabbling in this, like on TikTok. I posted a video of a guy winding a guitar headstock, and I must have 200,000 views, and I didn't put any money into it. It's just a viral video. Yeah. It's like, okay, cool. So we can do that, but it's not Matthew Janitis singing or talking to Courtney. It's a guy putting guitar strings on a guitar, and it went viral. But how could I make talking to Courtney or posting my new song somewhat on the same lines of that? That's the tough one. I mean, putting money into marketing, maybe.
You don't have to, yeah. If you make it interesting enough, I guess, and just be consistent, I've heard. I mean, I'm not a marketing expert here, but we seem to talk about this enough.
We do. We need to get, what we should do? If anybody's watching this, and they want to join us one day, one of the shows, like a marketing expert, I would love to hear what they would have to say. I mean, without giving away too much of their secret sauce, of course, because I keep talking about it, because I really think it's so important. I mean, of course, let's just pretend that the artist that's trying to do this has good material. Now, in my opinion, I think every artist has good material, because the reason we're artists is because we're unique and we do our own thing. So, of course, everybody has good material. Mm-hmm. But assuming that the material is quote unquote good, I almost feel like, but it still doesn't really matter. I think in a way, I think it's more about this marketing person that we need to talk to, because that's how you can get almost like they can almost take something that maybe I don't think is the greatest thing, maybe a lot of people don't think is the greatest thing, but they could somehow turn that into like the greatest thing just by marketing genius.
Well, if you do the mathematics on it, this is all an equation. So how do we get to equals? I know, but it's like, how do we get to equals success equals viral? So it comes into play, these variables. One of them is going to be you and your artist, or your audience. So what does your audience really want to see? What do they need? Why do they come to you? What is pulling on them? If you can figure that one out, look at the demographic of your audience. I've done that before, and it's like a lot of them, would listen to like more emo, like kind of rock based, and they all are about like, millennial, you could say, maybe based off of the
Mhm.
app. And you would take things that they would want to see, and something also you have to do something that's really personal and authentic to you, and that is yourself. So I feel like even posting like these viral videos or like the guitar stringing and stuff, like if you're not in the video, you're not going to be getting, you're not branding yourself. You're just posting somebody else's stuff. But if you're in the video kind of talking like I do, my videos that have actually gotten a bit more uh, exposure and success on the views on both platforms like TikTok and Instagram are the ones where I'm just standing here and I'm looking at the camera and I'm talking and I'm like, do you want to go into sync licensing? Do you want to blah, 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 your music and films, TVs, all these things, just talking straight to the camera. Like I said, it's called a
Mhm.
vertical. So I feel like, and another one that I did on here on Instagram, like probably like a year and a half ago or something, I was just singing with a backtrack, staring at the camera, and it was that simple, just one of my own songs. And because I've never done it before, and people might have seen my face or not, or because they feel engaged, they could see the nerves in my face or the authentic, nature of the content. And it was, I guess, back before short form content kind of pushed its way through, but still, you kind of have to figure out the mathematics behind it and what works for your audience.
Because I keep thinking about a quote that Dave Grohl had a long time ago. He was just like, he's like, if you go to a show and you just play as hard as you can and you rock out and your songs are so amazing, it doesn't matter if there's 3 people there or 7 people there. He's like, you do that, those people will all talk,
Mhm.
and eventually you're going to get known. And I guess it's like word of mouth. But I really think Dave Grohl said that in a time where there wasn't short form content videos.
It's
And now
still
there
valid,
is.
yeah. If you see
I
somebody
know.
enjoying what they're doing, they could be crappy, but if they enjoy it and they're giving you the energy and you feel that energy, you're evoking something in them, which is the first step to being memorable, being, successful in marketing.
Yeah, like that's the word again, marketing, digital marketing. Like if you're an artist and you want to get a manager, today it's more about building a team. You need like a marketing manager, a booking agent, a manager, an accountant. You need like a group of people. It's not just as simple as just getting a manager, because a manager isn't really doing what a digital marketing person would do. Like a digital marketer, maybe. I don't know. There's so much stuff, but I think it's very important to talk about it because, if anybody has any ideas or they're watching this now or watching this later, I would love to hear your thoughts because I would love to talk to somebody about. I mean, I'm talking to you and you're
Yeah.
way more educated in this than I am, but it would be great to talk to somebody that specifically does
Hmm.
that and is willing to at least give us a little bit of insight about what they do because I know most people that do that they charge a lot of money and of course they should. But it's just really interesting why somebody would want to spend X amount of money to have somebody like that. Like it's different than a PR person too, because I know PR agents are also very important um, internationally, is more specifically too. Because for example, like Courtney, if you wanted to release, if you have like a big debut thing, you could contact. There's like Ginger Vine agency here in Finland that they would do like a PR campaign just in Finland for your release. So you could do that everywhere,
Yeah, that
and
was part
it's
of my little list that I was making for the release I'm going to be doing sometime next year, where I was like, okay,
okay.
so what am I going to do? Do I care about radio play for once? Maybe I might put a budget into it. Maybe and the people I work with through my sync that I do my briefs for, they actually have a part of their agency that is, would help me with that. And I just need to reach out to them where they would be able to put me like on like BBC, like radio and like play my music a few times and like reach out even over here if I requested it over in the US. And they would also they could do like press, like you were talking about, like magazines or online blogs or anything like that, even like getting me an interview somewhere just to get more exposure. And, I would talk to these people that also do sync, so it's like I just collaborate with them and think about, monopolizing my marketing and my promotional budget just with them.
Yeah, because I don't have too much experience with with radio, but I do have, so I did this Christmas song with Andy, and I had to submit my information, and I get performance royalties every time it gets played. And I actually, as crazy as it sounds, like every quarter after the Christmas holidays, I actually get some money for that, and I'm just getting a tiny little percent. So I have, like, I'm pretty sure, like, if you are the copyright holder or the publisher of a song that's getting played on the radio, I think it's like, that's super huge. Like, it's really big. Like, you could make a lot of money for your song that gets played on the radio a lot.
If it gets played often, yeah.
Yeah. Like, if it's on, like, if you have a song, if it's a hit, like all those bands that have those one-hit wonders, and a lot of my peers, older friends of mine, they're like, one-hit wonders. But I disagree, because those one-hit wonders are still getting played on the radio, and they're still making money. So, like, they could be one-hit wonders, but I understand that the integrity of your career is exposed, and you're considered a one-hit wonder, and maybe it doesn't look great to other people. But financially, if you have anything on the radio that's getting played a lot, just like I'm assuming that you're looking into the sync rights and movies and stuff. Same with that. Like, if who I forget the name of the guy who makes the Star Wars music, but that guy's doing pretty well, So
yeah, there was somebody named Jamie Hembry who had said once, and this was brilliant, and it goes back to what you were saying, where I'd love to be the one-hit wonder guy, and that's my one song. If I could just walk out and say, hey, that's my song, I'd be pretty proud. Even if it was just one song, at least people would know that's my song. And he was right. And it's like, I think about that sometimes, where one or two of my songs get most of the exposure. I might look somewhat successful as an independent artist, like getting some exposure, but it's just like one or two of my songs. And to me, it's like, yeah, sure, like, at least that's my song. Nostalgia in Wonderland, it's done really great. I'm trying to put in catalogs because it's easy to listen to and this and that. And it's like, yeah, sure, if that's my song, I'm proud of it. I'll stand up, and not just let it hold me back and say, oh, I was great back when I wrote that one song that I only really had like this much part in compared to all my other songs. But you just, you have to be proud of yourself in like every little step. And I'm sure one day I'll have what I want and like maybe get 1 million streams or a really big placement that will get me 1 million streams off of a song that I have, maybe co-produced rights on, where I also did some of the composition, which would be amazing. That's my goal, but I will use these stepping stones, like the songs that are doing okay right now, to try and get myself there.
Well, you bring up a good point, because it's important, and you've said this in one of your many videos that a lot of people have watched, including myself, where you've posted that it's important that if you are doing any of these things, especially doing producing, to make sure that you get the contract and you have the credit that you're getting whatever percentage from the publishing or whatever it may be, because the reason why it's important is for obvious reasons, but also, like we talked about a few episodes ago, that it's like you're planting your seed, and maybe me being on the Christmas song is just a once a year type of thing, but the Christmas song along with this, along with that, or Courtney's doing this, collaborating with that, putting this out over time, those things all start accumulating, and then that's how you start building your catalog, and that's how you can start living off of royalty checks, which a lot of my friends in the music business, that's what they do. Here's my royalty check, and they pay their rent, and I'm just like, whoa, like, that's so cool. Like, I would love to have my rent paid because I got my royalty check in. So we are slowly doing that, myself included, and you have been working hard at doing that. And I think, obviously, if it's a goal that you have, I'm sure you're going to reach it,
Yeah, there's another way to step into this. So what I've noticed is you could still sell shirts, and you probably should. Everyone should have a merch line, just because it's something we've always done as musicians, and it's a way of just kind of honoring who you are and representing yourself and having other people do it. It's a wonderful way to do it. But also, this is the first time in my music that I've actually seen like money coming in monthly, and it might be a small amount, but to me, that's a huge step. And it's not just my music, it's my book, it is my class, it is, also, small royalties in my PRO account that are slowly, accumulating, as well as my distribution royalties that are a little bit more. And it's crazy to think all these little steps will eventually add up. Right now, it might be like whatever, $100 a month or whatever. But, slowly, it's like that'll put a smile on my face. Like you said before, I'd rather, earn my own $100 and go working for somebody else and earning my $10,000 or something. And it's like, that is huge for me, being able to see like something monthly because people are willing to support me too. So thank you guys.
Yeah, that's the other thing that I sometimes forget because we have to realize that we're doing all this work, and I don't sometimes think about the other end when people are like very appreciative, or we do something where we write a song, somebody's like, oh, that song means something to me. So whenever we try to push like courses or a book or t-shirts, it's sometimes I got to stop thinking like, hey man, maybe I shouldn't do this because we have to do that. Like that's what we're doing. And I just hopefully I just published a 3-book series myself. So hopefully that'll be coming out. I'm kind of excited about it because I know you did a book, and I think that there's so many options available for us to do today that might have been harder 10 years ago to publish a book. Today it seems pretty easy if you have the idea and you have the content. So I think that's great.
Yeah, it feels like royalties in a way, but yeah, that's kind of the goal. You get enough. They say in sync, if I do all these little instrumental cues for like reality TV show or small little inner, it's not my artist project, but it's something that could add up and it could fund my artist project.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, if one of us ends up getting in a pinball machine game, right? If they make those anymore, and like makes like a huge amount of money from that, you can still be Daughter of the Wood or Courtney Nord making whatever music you want. Doesn't have to be you're playing stadium tours because of it, because you have that pinball money coming in that's supporting you doing what you want to do. And I think that's amazing. So we all, as artists, should keep open minds to all the different ways of trying to earn incomes to support not only our families, of course, but to support what it is that we're trying to do. I know there's been many bands where they were told back in the 90s, especially like, hey, you have to make this type of music. The producers and the labels were like, do this, do this, do this. And they did it. But then like 3 records later, you hear what they really wanted to do because maybe they're not on the label anymore. And it sounds completely different than what they did when they were being told. And it's just because, well, now they can do that. And if not many people like it, fine, because they like it. And that's what they want to do. And it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I catch myself in that loop often where I'm so stuck thinking, oh, I need to make money so I can feel valued as an artist. And I will shut half of the songs I've made or have, produced, mastered, and mixed myself or just have demos for because I don't think it would do well in sync specifically. But it doesn't mean that I shouldn't let it see the light of day and release it at least. And if it makes me feel good, maybe somebody else might like the song too. It's not all about trying to get it licensed or trying to make money or to appease your label or whoever, for me, it could be, the agency that I work through who does all of my sync basically. Like I can just make music and distribute it through them without having to, have them do anything else with it. And that would be fine as well if it feeds my soul.
Well, the other thing is, doing the podcasts. Like I finally got the one podcast up. It's a lot of work, but I want to start putting, all the other shows that I've been doing on podcasts, because that's just yet another source of income that eventually when people start listening to the shows, you have that. It's like there's so much. I know Ricky Slayer's here. I was talking to him earlier about, just dabbling with different ideas on, posting things on TikTok or Instagram and putting some marketing money into it, like like $3 a day for a few days and testing things out. Yeah. And he's learning about that right now. And yeah, I mean, there's just because I know that sometimes when I was talking to Darren a lot, especially on Mondays, we were always like, no, putting money into even Mondays or any of that stuff. But then what I'm realizing, it's like, well, if you put in like 15 or 20 bucks in marketing, but you have like an end goal, like whether it's selling Monday t-shirts
Yeah,
or
exactly.
whatever it may be. If somebody buys one t-shirt, then you made all that money back and you gain more fans. So actually putting a little bit of money into marketing is actually not a bad idea if you do it correctly.
That's what I found
So
out. Like, I realized that that one video of me on TikTok where I was like, "Do you want to get your music into film, TV, streaming, blah blah blah?" It is
yeah,
exactly like investing in tiny stocks. That's what it felt like. And I was like, "Oh, this got 2,000 views. Everything else has like 200 views. I think I put like $10, $15, into promoting it, and it got it up to almost like 10,000 views after that. And people were signing up for my class, and it was like this just paid for itself and then some. So."
yeah,
Yeah, you never know. Yeah, it's worth the investment if you have the extra funds. But I mean, I wouldn't be like scrounging, if you don't have the money. It's not worth it then.
no, I mean, I guess if you look at it like putting the time into mastering your craft, like for me, like when all those years of practicing guitar, that was hours that I was working on performing trying to master my instrument. Of course, I could have been working or doing other things with those hours. So I was actually putting money into myself without even knowing it because I was just putting time into it. So now why should me or Darren or anybody else have such an issue with putting a $3 or $4 in advertising something that we've been working on for years for a few days to try to get more people to maybe that don't know about it? Because another thing is, and I say this all the time, so many bands with like small niches, and when I mean small, I mean 400,000 people that are following a band is still kind of small in a way, because how many people are in India or Japan or China or Brazil that don't know who you are? So that's another interesting thing to think about. I mean, you can always keep growing. Of course, there's the creme de la creme, like the Metallicas or the Lady Gagas or the blah, blah, blahs. But there's so much underneath that are doing so well. Even 10,000 followers, if they're all buying stuff from you, amazing, you're doing awesome, and it's like nobody's even heard of it.
Yeah,
So that's
and
that's kind of like inspiring, or it gives you hope. Like I don't necessarily have to be as big as Michael Jackson to be like, oh, cool, now I made it. Even though my initials are MJ.
that's funny. I never thought about that. But yeah, this last year, part of the reason I wanted to release an EP, I wanted to release an album. There's a lot of things I wanted to do this year that I didn't do. I released a few singles, and that was it. I felt like I was in a rut, and I wasn't doing so well. And I realized what I was doing behind the scenes is that I was investing in myself, like you said. I bought a better guitar because mine was, I'd rather have something that's a little bit nicer. It was like one of the bottom lines that I was working with, price-wise. But I wanted to treat myself. I wanted to get some better studio equipment. I wanted to teach myself how to produce more, teach myself a little bit more about music theory. And I wanted to invest in myself, like you said, because at the end of the day, at the end of your life even, like, what's going to stand out is what you have with you when you're standing there alone, And for me, that's really important, not to just be spending all this money on like producers, which I totally will. I love working with the producers that I work with, and I learn, from them as well. But it's about, also investing in yourself and taking even like songwriting classes, which seems so stupid because I think my strongest point is being able to write songs, but there's always something I can learn from anybody. And that's, like you said, where you're investing your time into learning a guitar. That is very valuable, just sitting down and doing that alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it's cool. Like, if you are a good songwriter, but you want to take songwriting courses, at that point, I think you're just probably taking them just to be inspired and learn different things, which is totally cool. Even though you could probably be inspired and learn different things on your own, it doesn't matter, because if that's what's working, then do what works and don't do what doesn't work,
Yeah.
And then, you could be giving, I don't know if you are or not, because I haven't checked, but I mean, you could be giving songwriting classes yourself, and you can be giving all these courses yourself. I know you do with the sync and stuff, but I mean, there's so many things that people are interested in. Like, a lot of people really don't know like, they look at a song like a blank piece of paper, and they don't know where to start, where to end, what to do.
Yeah.
And maybe for somebody like you, where you're gifted and it just
Or you.
works out where you can just do it. Yeah,
Yeah.
or me, or many other people, it's like a lot of people that do that, they don't really think that what they're doing is anything special. But there's so many people that they're amazed by that, and they would love to just do it. They would love to try to. How many people would love to be able to say they wrote a song, but they haven't? Maybe it's not like the biggest thing. I'm sure a lot of people would want to say they were, a star baseball player on a baseball team. Sure, a lot of people wish they could do that, but there's a lot of people that wish they could just write a song and maybe play it at the family dinner on a Christmas thing or something. And
yeah, that's where we all start out.
yeah, I know that when I do that at the family thing, it's like my worst fear ever, because it's just my family and it's like quiet and everybody's staring at me, and like I totally bomb every time.
I can one up you. So when I was playing guitar with my family, I was in my emo stage. And if you know what emo stage is, it's like, you're like this, you're depressed. I had black hair. I was just,
Yeah.
I was very distraught as a teenager. And I listened to very emotional, like, music where, it's, I would play songs like that at the family get-together, and it was like, I look back now, and it's like, oh my God, I had some balls, to be singing songs about depressing things, and like, it was good. I could play guitar, and I could sing at the same time, but like, there's certain audiences for certain things.
You said when you were a teenager. Wait, I thought you were a teenager now. How old are you? You got to be like, what, 19 or something, right?
Oh, you're joking, yeah. And you have to be like, you got to be like at least 25. Look at you, huh?
Oh yeah, well, you're hilarious.
No, man, I'm pushing 30. I'm getting there. 30. We're 3 years away. Yeah, I'm 27.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
But now I got lost in the fun, but yeah, playing in front of your family. Yeah, I can picture you being emo, and it's just very hard when it's an intimate time, but especially when it's family and close friends. At a bar, it's different. If there's 3 people, that's fine. I don't care. Usually there is only 3 people, right? But when it's at home and there's like 4 people and they're like my mom or close friends or relatives, it's very difficult to, in my opinion, to perform. But I don't know why we're talking about it. So Ricky Slayer said he's 31 and he looks like he's 45. Well, he's a. You know what, Ricky? Have we? I don't know. Ricky's a hard worker. He's a hard worker. So, aren't we all though? Listen to me. I sound horrible. I can't even talk. Courtney, you need to start talking.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say it's wonderful, being able to play in front of family. I got a hand-me-down guitar from my grandpa doing that, so that was nice. But it was also followed up because of the funds. I was singing, therapy questions to my parents because I was 16. Like, is she okay? And in my mind, well, she's just an artist. You know what I mean? It's like we're just broken people or whatever. We just express things outwardly, and we're very poetic in nature, being, songwriters. So I don't think too much about that. But and for the sync class, I was thinking about, and originally I was going to do like a songwriting class, or I was going to do like a vocal class, like for vocal strategies, and how there's so many different things you can do to improve your vocals for people who think that they can't sing. So I wanted to do one of those, and there's so many things, but the sync class blew up so quickly that I just started adding on to it and realizing that this was a really great idea, and I never, I've yet to branch out into different kinds of classes.
Well, something to look into. I know people go on. There's a website called Udemy or something like that where they do courses and stuff.
I use Teachable. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I've been doing, like I said, I've been doing research, and I'll continue to do more and talk about it. But I just wanted to ask you, the main thing that I thought was important to talk about was just to see, like, what you could do if you didn't want to build a brand that is fake, using other people's material just to get views and monetize and use your CPA marketing. But how could you do that for yourself as an artist and still have something coming in? Because, like, we all can agree that most people would rather look at the two cats eating food with their tails looking like it's a heart than a Matty J song. I mean, that's just the hard facts. That's what people want to hear. So it's like, so when you look at it like that, it's like it can be frustrating, but then at the same time, I look at it like it's fun. Like, but probably people would want to see it. Maybe not as much as the cats, but if we figure out the right tactics or techniques or whatever it may be, you can try to convert more people to being interested in it because for whatever reason, maybe they'll appreciate it or they like the song or because most people aren't going to hear it in the first place. And that's the point. We need to try to get people to hear our stuff without spamming it, which is something I used to do like when I was, you know, when I used to have my cjb.net with my old band in 1997, I would try to spam people that all the time. But times are changing. Times are changing.
Yeah, you need a story to back your projects, and I'm thinking about that right now because if I do decide to go up to my the agency I work with and say, hey, I actually want to do something with press, I'm gonna need a story behind it. You know, I'm gonna have to dig up honest truths about what these songs are about and why I'm here and what I'm trying to give to the world in a way. You know, that's the biggest thing. My last project, it was kind of about finding myself, and I could write all about that. But what is this next project going to be? And it's without being spammy, you know, share your story with your music, and that should hook people in. Just because it's memorable, they'll remember you, and it's, oh yeah, you're the person that, you know, you're the guy who's worked with these different bands, and you are from Philly, you know, and now you're in Finland, and you know, you wear the hat, and it's all part of your story.
Yeah, and Ricky's saying I'll eventually have the courage to be on a live stream once I improve my looks. I've been neglecting myself because I'm out of shape. Yeah, but Ricky, I didn't mean it like that at all. And it doesn't matter what we look like. It doesn't. What matters is like who we are as people. In my opinion, if we're getting into that subject, like if you're a nice person and you have good intentions and you just want people to be happy and you're trying to do something positive, you can be on a live stream and it's totally cool if you have whatever it is. It doesn't matter.
I can speak on that actually. So I dealt with an eating disorder. I had both bulimia and anorexia for a good amount of probably like around 7 years. I ended up, you know, being in the hospital because of it. And now I have to deal with, you know, how am I going to be a music artist and be seen? So it's like, I'll just flip into sync licensing because I don't need to be seen. I don't need to be on stage. I don't want to deal with that. And as much as I might look pretty or whatever, body dysmorphia is a real thing too, where I don't like being on stage. I don't like seeing videos of me being on stage, no matter what I look like in my mind. I still have body dysmorphia, and I think I look worse than I do maybe. And this is the most I've ever weighed, you know, right now. And I feel the same way. Where, you know, in January I've signed up to do some like physical exercise classes and like try to get my mind right. It's the most important thing to me when it comes to exercise, is being able to focus more and be able to do college a little bit easier if I'm able to, you know, put all of my you know, get my blood pumping and feel better in my body as well. And it's a real thing, you know, and it'll make you not want to be seen at all. And I've, you know, limited how much I've been on social media. My music videos don't have me in them anymore, and it's because of this. It's because of body dysmorphia and feeling like I'm very insecure. And no matter where I am, you know, we all make great music. Like I said, this is the most, you know, I've ever weighed. You don't see me right now, but like it gets me in the core because I dealt with these things as, you know, a teenager and a preteen.
But see, I look at that maybe in a different way, because to me that must be so challenging for you, because I do feel that you would like to be playing on stage and maybe performing. So if you have those issues that it makes it hard for you to do that, I guess that must be very challenging for you, because I know you did those live gigs, and I don't know if you had a good time doing them, but I'm assuming that you probably did, and you probably would like to do more.
But I've never posted live video from it. You know, it's something that, at least for me, because it was so deep, you know, like that was an illness, you know, that I've dealt with. I mean, I used to look like a bodybuilder. Now I look like a trucker. No, I look like a soccer mom. Yeah, it's life too. You know, I'm in college. I'm a mom. I live in the mountains. I used to have a nice routine where I'd be able to go out every day where I used to live, and it's just hard when life changes too. So we can't beat ourselves up. In fact, I should stand taller. and represent, maybe being slightly overweight is still okay, and being in the public eye and having more people see that, because it's okay, like we're all in the middle stages of trying to get better. We're never going to be perfect.
Well, I think it's when people make jokes. Some people are make harmful jokes. Some people make jokes that are kidding. But I know myself when people, even back when I was playing in my old band Inbred, as I have no voice right now, I remember my people, like the singer, or I forget who it was, they were just like, Matty, you sound like a Muppet when you sing. I sound like one now, actually, but it's because my voice is on. And that little thing made me so insecure. And that's why for almost 20 years, I didn't really sing or try to focus on singing, because of that one comment that somebody told me when I was 17 years old. So I totally can relate to everybody that has like these insecurities or issues with things. And I think you're right. I think you and myself and every other artist that deals with this could bring these up, because we all have different different things, like me with my singing, or blah blah blah, and you with your weight or whatever it may be. It's like these are all like real life issues, and that's another reason why people like to listen to artists, because not only when they draw and make pictures, but people like to listen to what people are saying. And if you're, I don't know, it all comes together in some weird cosmic way. And I'm just drifting through the universe with y'all, trying to figure out my way, just like everybody else. But it's pretty interesting, and it's really great. Sacrament's here. She says, as if I didn't deserve those things if I look bad, but it's such a bullshit. After many years of struggling with it, I finally realized that I already deserve to live my best life, no matter how. And it's funny because Sacrament has been posting her playing guitar, and I made a really good comment, because I was like, dude, I think she's already like basically found herself. She's been doing it like just a few times, not even that long. And she's like, I don't know if you saw her last video, but she owned it. She played this song. Yeah. Like, come on, Sacrament, you're kicking ass. Like I was going to write it. I don't know if I did it. It took me like 20 years to figure out me, but some people it takes longer, whatever.
Yeah, and it's true. She was mentioning, I'll buy this when I look perfect, blah, blah, blah. It's the same thing. Like, I'd love to dress up and be on stage, but like in my mind, it's like, oh man, like maybe if I weighed less, and if you dealt with people with eating disorders, like you trace the number on the scale and the number always decreases. Like you can always do better, and it gets so unhealthy, and like clothing becomes uncomfortable, eating with people becomes uncomfortable. Like there's so many things that it affects, and having the guts to just go and like show yourself and make music. And I started out really crappy. Sacrament is like 20 steps ahead of where I had started out, where I had to get back into even like having rhythm in my music and being able to follow a click and like all the basics. And you have to start from there, and you get better and you build on yourself, and people see that growth. People see where you start and where you go, and that is your story, and that's where they stay. I feel like that's, yes, exactly, like you were there from the beginning, and it's like this is how people learn your story and become fans and connect with you. And I will gladly support Janitas too, because you were, there in the beginning, and, Sacrament's done some album art for a song that I would like to fix up and put back up on streaming services and all these things. It's important to support each other. Yeah. And to be honest.
Yeah, that's true. I know we'll start wrapping the stream up soon, but I do want to bring up 2 points. The honest thing is good, because a lot of my musician friends will ask me, hey, Matty, can I send you this track? Can you tell me what you think? And I tell them what I think. And I say it in a way where I try to make sense of it when I tell them, like if I don't like parts of the track, I'll tell them why I don't like parts of the track. But I won't not say that I don't like parts of the track. I'm going to tell them, you asked me, I'm not the rest of the world, but this is what I think. Because it's very important to be honest to people, and knowing that no matter what they send me, I'm always going to like it, because I always say we're all artists and we all make, everything we do is amazing. It's just that I'll pick out the things that maybe I don't like, and I'll tell them, and I think they appreciate that. Another thing really quick with my Muppet voice is, guys have the same types of insecurities that maybe we don't talk about it, because I'm getting up there in age and I love to headbang, right? And I'm just thinking, Villa Vallo is a good example, and I know Brittany's here. He changed up his music style. When I talk about it a lot to different people, he kind of got more like sensitive, more toned down if you listen to his new music. And I think why he did it is because he's like, look, I'm Villa Vallo. Yeah, I'm like this hot, awesome frontman that all the girls like. But how much longer am I going to want 17 or 22-year-old girls to be like, oh, Villa Vallo? So he's like owning his age, and he's like playing more conservative music because I think he's thinking ahead and he wants to keep his career going and going and going. And same thing about like, what am I going to do when I'm 50 or 60 years old? Am I going to be headbanging like a madman? I hope so. I'll try to do it as long as I can because I love to do it. But at some point, my hair might come out. Oh, what happens then? I'm going to be a total mess. I'm going to be crying, all insecure. Like, oh, look at me. So, guys have these same things too. It's just that maybe guys are more pressed not to talk about it because we're guys, right? We have to be like, well, we don't talk about it. But we do. We have problems, same types of problems in a way, I think.
Mm-hmm. It's true, yeah, there's stigmas against it. And I've noticed, too, the artists, and I think about that, too. Like, am I just going to be playing folk music with my acoustic guitar when I'm, like, 50, 60 years old and not be doing any kind of big production pop kind of music? Maybe. And I kind of love that scene. I kind of want to jump there right now, to be honest, and just, like, be really conservative as well, in a way. And I think you should just follow whatever makes you feel the best. And I think the best thing you can do is just be very confident about what you're doing. Like, no matter the changes with life, I'm a mom now. I'm also in school, and just adapt with it and still be, enjoying it. People will see that. They'll feel it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think it's great when artists like maybe Ozzy gets away with it and the Rolling Stones will get away with it. They play, but I like it when artists change because everybody should change. I mean, I don't think staying, teen, like if Kurt Cobain was around, I don't know if he would be like, I want to play Teen Spirit all the time. He'd probably be playing different music because he's like, look, I'm not 23 years old or 24 years old anymore. So it's good to think about these things. And today was another great show, and we should continue to do them more often like we normally do. So
sounds good. Yeah, thanks everyone for joining. Some good topics, and it feels like family, so it's important. Thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you, Ricky and Sacrament and everybody else that joined, and I'll try to get these posted. But okay, really quick, because when I post the show on podcast, as I sound like a muppet, the one thing that I think about is it would be cool to do live streams eventually with, I don't know if it would have to be on YouTube because I don't know if we can plug things, but it would be better if we were like Howard Stern style where you're like, or Joe Rogan, where it's like you're actually talking into like a nice microphone. It's not just a phone. For now, it's fine. But eventually, I'm just looking forward. It would be cool to do shows where when you listen to it in a podcast, the production aspect is pretty decent too. You know what I mean? So I don't know how we can do that on Instagram. I don't think we can do that.
Yeah, I tried plugging my microphone into my phone before, and it really distorts the audio because it's like overload. I don't think the software on Instagram is quite there yet.
No, it kind of sucks. It's just a shame because it's so easy to do it. I mean, maybe YouTube is easier. I just don't like breaking out all the equipment and doing all that stuff because I used to do that. It's kind of annoying. So that's why it's easy to do it like this. And it's not bad, and I can probably do some studio magic, I guess, if I wanted to, but not really because these phones already have compressed mics. So there's not much I can really do.
TikTok allows you to, hook up microphones, but I think they use software sometimes. Either way, I don't know.
Yeah.
I kind of, what I did when I did my Instagram lives into a podcast, I kind of just beefed it up in production. Once I had the audio file, I put it onto my Ableton and then kind of like adjust it a little bit, like engineer it just a touch.
You did TikTok Live, so you have more than 1,000 followers on TikTok.
I do. I just haven't. I haven't used TikTok Live because it's like my time is my money, and I'm busy doing, trying to make more music, then what am I going to do live? Once I release something, I'm sure I'll go live.
because that would be another idea if we did these shows on TikTok, because at least if we do it there, like Suggestion's been saying, do it on TikTok because then we can get tips and stuff like that.
I can
I
get
don't
tips
care.
on Instagram.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
I can't yet.
Oh.
Well, hey, but if you can tip Courtney because she can, so just do it. Do it. And I will start wrapping up the stream, and let's do this again. I forgot that the marketing says Wednesday, and I told Courtney, I was like, no, I thought we do it on Thursdays, but Wednesdays are cool. Like, do you want to do it on Wednesdays or Thursdays? Because I think it'd be easier to do it on Wednesdays now, because then I don't have to change the thing.
I'm good right now. Coming like the beginning of January, I'll be having like class in the morning on Wednesday and Thursdays and Mondays and Tuesdays. So it'll get a little bit difficult. I'll have to figure it out.
Well, maybe we can do it on a weekend, or we can figure something out.
Yeah, exactly.
Or I could, also because I'm flexible. I usually do streams like 6 o'clock in the morning here, because Finland's all whacked out with the time, especially with you, 10 hours apart. Yeah. So we'll make it work. But until then, let's plan on doing it next week, and either Wednesday or Thursday, we'll figure it out. But this was a great one, again, as always. So thank you for joining, everyone, and thank you, Courtney, for being here.
Yes, see you next time, right? Rock and roll.
Yes. Bye-bye.
Bye.